Esta conferencia comenzará a grabarse.
Okay, so thank you. Welcome everybody to this session of the European Alliance Against Coronavirus Forum.
Hi, hello, Antonio.
Yes. Hello, Cristina.
Antonio, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Rui Tocha is also online, but I think you have to accept him in the meeting because if not, he cannot go in. And you see him in the list of pending people to be accepted.
There is no waiting list. He should be able to enter without any problem. We are not controlling who enters or not. It's totally open.
Okay. Okay, let me check with him then. Come to you.
Yeah, please. Thank you. If not, he could try with another navigator, you know, instead of Chrome, Firefox, or Explorer, something like that. Okay, as I was saying, welcome. Today we are going to focus our session on the European tooling and plastics value chains. You know that this specific value chain has been critical for us during this crisis, and I think it's clear for everyone that it has a very important role in the future. And to speak about it, we have four excellent speakers.
Hi again. I'm just dealing with Rui Tocha because he's having any problem in entering.
I see
the meeting right now.
Bye. Thank you. Goodbye.
Hello, Rui. Are you there?
Hello.
Yes.
Good morning.
Morning. Welcome, Rui. Perfect. Thank you, Cristina and Rui. Okay. So we are ready. The introduction has been made, and the floor is yours, Rui. Should I give you the presentation rights?
Yes, please. Good morning to everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and congratulations to ECA for the work done.
Thank you, Rui. Do you have the message about the possibility? Yes. Okay. Now we are seeing your screen, but not the presentation.
Okay. So full screen. I don't know where to.
I don't know if at the moment of sharing, you need to choose the full screen or the PowerPoint. Try to share again.
Sorry.
If not, Nina could do it.
I think maybe it's better she do it
Okay.
I could share, but
don't worry, I will give Nina the access. Yes, I give you the presentation rights, Nina. Okay, so now we are going to...
Just one moment, I will load the presentation. Rui, you can start talking.
Rui, you don't need to wait.
Okay, I just want to say that this is a great opportunity for us to present the work of this group of clusters that have been working together for a long time. In fact, we are kind of good practices on the working together. We know each other for more than 15 years ago, where we start to meet, and Patrick has been one, I would say, the ignition of this process some years ago when we met and start in an European project. And we are all, it's interesting because we could say that we are concurrents, But anyway, we have been finding the ways to cooperate in a very open way. We will show you that with this presentation, because our cluster is dedicated to tooling and the plastics. Our main clients are abroad, and of course, tooling is an intensive technology and knowledge industry, and is in the base of the general products that we know in the world. So considering this is there is a need to invest a lot, not only on technology, but on know-how and networks. And this connection with the clusters, I don't know if Nina can proceed with the slide. No, the first, yeah. This cluster has important role in the gathering all the community, means companies from tooling plastics, but also universities and research centers at the national level, and the integration of those in the international community, making links. So we work on intelligence, marketing and branding, network, and more on the industrial policy support, bringing the needs from the companies to the market. You can proceed the slide, please. Well, this is a very clear view of our job. So we are acting in the most advanced sectors like automotive sector, medical devices, electronics, and so on. And in the last 6 years, our industry gave a big jump with duplicated the production and the exports, which is incredible because we already exported 90% of the production. Of course, the automotive sector has been the big, strong force, but even the companies has invested a lot in new technologies, in a lot of research activities. We were able to introduce people in the industry, skilled people. So there has been a huge jump on the number of the people that enter in the sectors, in our sectors, but also the reskilling of these people. So our main activity is to promote not only the industry, the brand, but also our networks. You can proceed for the next slide, please. Well, this is the main story of our group. I could emphasize that the most important thing on this is the trust and the active cooperation that we achieved during these years in all these projects, working hardly everywhere in India, US, Brazil, Japan. We create a very strong link with the Japanese clusters. So we are launching new projects and involving our companies in this network actively, not only to sell products, but also to participate in projects. And this is a great achievement for us. We look to these partners as they are members of our community, of course. You can proceed, please. I would say that the next challenges that we are facing now, considering the international market has stopped, and it's very difficult to interact with the clients right now, because most of the clients are from the automotive sector. We are involved on a big campaign of our cluster, so promoting our competencies, our capacity, our networks. But we are also involved on the industry recovery by innovation. So the companies are investing a lot in new projects, in new activities, trying to integrate new value chains, especially on medical devices, which is a big story and very complicated in Europe, considering the disruption. So the problem we are facing is that the companies need to go for the green and digital transition right now, but they are facing a stop of the market. And so they have to do and create capacity and the resilience to go further, to go ahead with the most differentiating instruments. And so the links with the clusters are important to create new projects and establish new platforms for cooperation and opening markets. The next slide, please. So during these days and during this period, you will see that all the clusters did the same. So our companies try to adapt to this situation and try to offer their skills to the society. They also use this to enter in new value chains like medical devices. And so we reinforce the capacity on research and the work of our platform has been to provide information, creating matchmaking, creating several proposals to the government and some instruments. Some of them are running now, like training for the tooling and automotive sectors, and also some projects on research to create new products and to help companies to go on. We create some links with the hospitals, and we are now putting some companies creating a kind of internal market, which is very difficult. The next step to finalize my intervention is dedicated to our contributes and recommendations. So we believe that the innovation is the key success in industrial competitiveness, and the link between clusters are very important. So we propose that the European Commission could establish an active and open European program based on clusters and smart specialization strategies, bringing the needs of the companies to the European policy. And the clusters are the ones that can do this in a good way to face the challenge of the digital and green transformation. Considering the reindustrialization, we believe that we need to push for equality and continuous investment, not only on technologies, research, but also in people, to improve the competitiveness of our SMEs. We need to avoid European protectionism, but we need to ensure equality, because equality is needed for the safety of our industry, for sustainability, social responsibilities, and economic reasons. And this means that we need to reinforce the dumping control within European market, considering the non-European markets. So we are facing, our companies are facing really dumping processes that are killing the capacity to invest and to guarantee the social responsibility that these companies are involved in Europe and the others are not. To reinforce this reindustrialization, we believe that we need to reinforce the European incorporation. Means that OEMs and first-tier suppliers that buy in Europe, most of these, all of these big companies, they receive public funds, not only from the European, but also for regional and national. And we need to create a system that they would be obliged to integrate more SMEs in their global value chains. So they are receiving this money and they are buying outside of Europe. So we need to reinforce these conditions when Europe make the contracts with these big OEMs. They need to be the big push for the integration of SMEs in our value chains. The last one is the regulate European critical markets. So medical devices, military and aeronautics are really bunkers, I would say, to enter, and is really difficult for SMEs to enter to make their offer inside, because everything is established. So we need to look at these value chains to reinforce the links between the needs of our market and the capacity to produce the products that are needed. And so the creation of European calls for clusters can be a good proposal for DG GROW to promote the integration of European SMEs on a strategic value chains, such as medical device, to overpass the European disruptions. So these are, we believe, good proposals that we together have been identified as needs. So now I can pass to Giuseppe to give his presentation linked with this. Thank you very much.
You are very, very welcome, Rui. Obrigado.
Thank you.
Congratulations for the presentation and the proposals that for me are excellent, very concrete. I will ask you and the rest of the speakers one question, okay? Just for you to have in mind. At this moment or in the near future, are your companies, are your members suffering any kind of disruption in the current situation? Or do you see the possibility in the near future of it? That's a very specific question, okay? But please continue, because I think that you are going in the perfect direction. So welcome, buongiorno, Giuseppe.
Buongiorno.
From ProPlast. The floor is yours.
Thank you. And so good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. And thank you to the opportunity to present our cluster. Go to the next slide, please. Okay, thank you. Just a few words about ProPlast. We are born as a consortium more than 20 years ago. We are a private no-profit R&D center and a cluster in polymers, composites, and in general plastic field. In 2008, we was recognized by Piedmont region as a regional cluster and as the coordinator of the Green Chemistry and Advanced Material Innovation Board. Our consortium have more or less 200 members, in particular SMEs, but also university, R&D centers, and so on. But we are an open consortium. In fact, we have more than 4,000 contacts in our database. We are now 42 employees, and in particular 5 persons for specific cluster activities. In August, we moved on the new ProPlast site, and from September, we are in our new headquarters, as you can see in the photo. So we offer a lot of services, starting from some important cluster activities like networking, dissemination, founding, R&D opportunities, seminars, events, and so on. But we offer also some important R&D and technical services in material design and process engineering. We have in our building different equipments like extruders and injection molding machine for trials, technical activities, and training. Other services are in fact training and also recruiting. Last but not least, we have the silver label in cluster management excellence. Thank you. So here the cluster collaboration project with the other 3 clusters that are here with us. A message of our presentation is a strong partnership between our clusters, as Reid said before. We collaborate together during projects, within projects, but also outside projects, such as during the first phase of coronavirus, we share the different initiatives in their respective countries and try to use this information, or in this case where there is a good opportunity like this, collaboration and working also for cluster and for our companies. These projects are a very important opportunity to create a good partnership, of course, and also to maintain it and create an interesting situation of comparison and inspiration. Next slide, please. Thank you. So what are the next challenges? For us, ProPlus are working with the other regional clusters for create a more organized regional cluster system. We are involved all together, all clusters, in the draft of the new cycle 2021-2027. Increase our network is, of course, a continuous target, and we are working with trade association, participating in cluster platform and direct contact with companies. Till now, we are on the board of CP4, European Composite Plastic and Polymer Processing Platform. We are linked with the CCP and the EN. We are also in the board of IPPR, Italian Promotion Plastic Recycling Institute, and so on. So we continue to search for and introduce new technologies for plastic product production that we can have in our factory, offering testing, trials, and design for engineering part. Next slide, please. Thank you. So during the pandemic period, we spent ourselves to produce in ProPlus different kind of device to help health and civil protection personnel. And also we try to, in particular, to promote and to continue to connect the different initiatives that are coming from companies to provide the capacities for manufacturing, medical, or safety equipment, and for others to work on the emergency products. We also made our best to contribute to connect our companies across different industrial sectors in order to find alternative production in front of the production reduction problem in some specific sectors. In some cases, in particular, like automotive, the productions was stopped. The last slide, please. Thank you. Okay, so we think that cluster can be the central point for meet and interact government policies and industries. Cluster are relationship based, creating networking usually in an informal ecosystem. So summarizing, we have a vision, relationship, and trust, and we can have a crucial role in developing the new high growth, high value industry of the future. We can help supporting them to be ready for circular economy, to push the innovation, to grow their competencies and competitiveness. But of course, we need to be supported by national and the European government with some call or initiatives like Rui said before. So that's it, and thank you, and I pass to my next colleague.
Grazie mille a Giuseppe. And now it's time to welcome Cristina Monge from ABEP. Hello, Cristina.
Hola. Hi.
Buenos días.
Buenos
So,
días.
the floor is yours.
Okay. If you can share the presentation also, I can go through it. Good. Good. You can go to the first slide directly. Good. Here we are. We are also a plastic association, becoming cluster years ago. We are also regional, and we represent 5.3% of the regional economy in Valencia, in the east coast of Spain, being the 5th sector in importance in the regions in terms of companies, people occupied in the sector, and also added value. We are a group of 132 members, companies, converters, and other members in the value chain of the plastic converter sector, forming a 5-people group of working in the association, and having a 30 members group in our board of directors. We have different scope of activities within our cluster, including the relationship with trade unions, international activities through projects, and also commercial promotion activities for our members, and other, for instance, marketing campaigns in terms of representing the interest and the promotion of the plastic sectors within the different markets applications. Can you pass my slide? Okay. I'm really happy with this slide, particularly that we share with all our colleagues, because it's the sum up of 15 years of work together, collaborating in different projects. And I want to emphasize particularly the result of this cooperation, because in terms of all of us are working with SMEs in an environment of SMEs, and the capability to promote all these projects within such a long period is clear that the collaboration and the information promotion within us has made our regions and our sectors to be promoted, established, and grow up, which is not an easy thing in the time that we are developing now. And I want to emphasize the importance to keep these networks to promote the regional sectors in Europe. So you can pass by if you want. What are the next challenges? Because till now we've talked about past. This is what we are. This is what we've done. But our team has been always focused to see farther away. And the new challenges, I just agree with my colleagues previously, and let me just emphasize that we keep and promote commercial relationships under movement restrictions. Now, COVID situation has pushed us in a circumstance in which the movement and the commercial relationships has been stopped. So this is a really challenge in not only in our sectors but also in our sector. Also to adjust the structures and the capacities to change demand. The internal demand, the worldwide demand has changed dramatically, meaning that we are a sector in transformation in this sense. Also the new regulations, beside the COVID situation, which is probably equal for all of the economical sectors, we are facing the new regulatory context, both at European level, also at national, and also at regional. In Spain particularly, we are now facing the probably incorporation of a plastic tax to production in our country, meaning the competitive of our companies are going to be dramatically affected. Also define strategies to face the circular economy and the Industry 4.0 challenges. Rui has mentioned it before in a very nice format, saying digital and circular economy challenges. And these are the two main focus, the environmental and the digitalization challenges in our sector. Also to adapt the strategies to overcome the sustainability solutions to face this free of plastic social trend. We are, as a sector, we are also fighting against the message of the plastic being the problem instead of the resource, the wasted being the problem in our environmental. So we are also facing a new difficulty, which is the social concern about probably a mistake of understanding regarding what the problem is. Also foreseen a potential payment delays for clients. If we look for expectations in 2021, probably the problems are going to become in terms of payments delay. And this is going to make a very difficult situations for company in terms of cash. So it's also something that is in our mind to prevent. And finally, explore the new market opportunities such as health, medical devices and tools, which is not easy. My colleague has mentioned before, but health and medical devices market is very complex in terms of clients, type of clients, also about requirements. So facing this opportunity from a technical point of view and also a marketing point of view, it's something that is in our head. And we are dealing with it, creating even groups. You're going to show in the next slide, if you pass me by. How we have contributed to this pandemic crisis, exactly focusing the challenges that I mentioned just a slide before. Particularly daily basis information. Nowadays, the information is so important to be updated because things are changing even faster than before. We used to say this message years ago, but now it has become more and more important. So even this collaboration within our cluster has made the possibility to create a cooperation and a network of information together within and at European level. Also the intermediation with sanitary and security service for PPEs, EPIs in Spanish, sorry, I didn't translate it, PPEs. The individual protection equipment distributions for companies working has been a problem in the past also, and that was a task that we faced immediately. And finally, this already mentioned healthy application opportunities for members, how to help SMEs, which has their difficulties, to focus and to maybe analyze the opportunities in a very particular sector, which is medical devices. And if you can go to the last one. Our recommendation for this economy recovery, I joined to the presentations of my colleagues. We absolutely agree with all of them. And in our case, particularly, we have focused on public and private initiatives coordination to push local projects towards circular economy. I think one of the most important things that the COVID has pushed us is to deal in the closer context. I mean, being international is important, but also to deal with closer companies to the local environment, to the most approach commercial relationships. And this is why to create a local environment of cooperation has been also one of the goals for us. Also to study the economical, financial, human resource and commercial sectorial impact. We've made a great and broad analysis of what is the impact within our sector. We are going to present it now in December, just to be sure that we can measure what has been the COVID impact in our sector, in our region. And finally is the analysis of proximity commercial opportunities and medical devices that I've already mentioned in these three main fields: advanced medical devices application, massive use medical devices, and also PPEs, sorry, again in Spanish, EPIs, personal protection equipments. And I think this is all by my side.
Muchas gracias, Cristina.
A ti, Antonio, gracias.
Thank you very much. And I see that we have a lot of proposals to comment later. That's wonderful. Thank you. And last but not least, our board member of ECA and treasurer and wonderful contributor, Patrick Villamor from Plastipolis. Welcome. Bonjour, Patrick.
Yes, buenos dias. Bonjour. Yes, I will be short anyhow because I fully agree and to what has been said and proposed by my colleague. We, as you have seen, we are all friends now, and we are very pleased to be invited to this morning by you, Antonio, and Nina, and Eka to share our experience. And I am the fourth musketeer in the team, and I will be short. The next slide, please, Nina. I won't come back to most detail, but maybe just emphasize among the projects we had together the past years. One that has been mentioned is Materialix. It has been supported by the European Commission, by COSME program, and we have been all together in this project to develop a meta-cluster approach, and we have been working and benchmarking ourselves with other clusters in Austria, in Germany, and to foresee next steps of cooperation beyond project, more on the operational side, and sharing practices in terms of services, in terms of common action. And it has been very beneficial among the projects that has been beneficial for us for the current time and to discuss the next steps. The next slide, please. So Plastipolis, we are a cluster as my colleagues. We are dealing with polymer, the plastic industry, composite industry, and we are moving this year to extend our scope to rubber and polymer as a whole in France. And of course, we work and we make our best to connect the value chain from the material suppliers, converters, and OEM as far as possible, as mentioned by Rui, at regional scale, at national scale, European scale, but of course, market or global. And when dealing with disruption, it's clear that we have been discussing a lot during this morning session, disruption in terms of supply for material, for plastic material or polymer, as others, but also disruption to market access and to customers. And I think this is among the point to discuss for a new model in the future and how cluster can contribute. The next slide, please. So we already shared our experience among others within the morning session, but yes, we have been making our best as cluster to bring added value in the situation from March, sharing information, developing connection, again, regional, national, European level, to develop initiative for emergency product, PPE, and others. And we are very pleased and very grateful to ECA to have developed this community of clusters and at current coronavirus time, but beyond. And this is a point of today, how to contribute to the next phase. The next slide, please. So it has been also mentioned by Rui, for plastic industry itself. It has been quite a strange time from March, considering that this industry, and also Christina mentioned it, has been and is very much on the spot regarding environmental issues. Sorry. But has been very much hit by this so-called plastic bashing for a long time, and the crisis situation has highlighted the value of this product, this solution, and it gave some relief and enjoyment for companies to show what they were able to bring as value for customer, for user, for the society, and this is really also a step to build on for a new model, not to come back to old-fashioned plastic industry, but to move to a new model with sustainability and a better, let's say, closer value chain. Next slide, please. So we discussed it with my colleague. We did it also with other cluster. I remember we have discussion with Cluster MAV in Catalonia, with other, and to contribute to the coming phase. And this has been extensively discussed last week in the European Cluster Conference. And to connect ourselves to this the industrial ecosystem that has organized the European Commission. And as material and tooling and manufacturing cluster, we are connected to, let's say, more or less all the ecosystem as supplier, as contributors. We are deeply involved in this energy-intensive industries on one hand, but we are connected to automotive, to others, and this is really a time to organize ourselves to contribute to each of this community. And I think ECA has proposed recently some initiative to organize ourselves across this ecosystem. So next slide, please. I think it will be I will not come back to the recommendation we did. I fully online and fully agree with what has been said by Rui, Giuseppe, and Cristina. Just coming back to the main comment that clusters as community ecosystem are really of high importance and high added value to prepare the recovery, but beyond the recovery, new business model in terms of connection between supplier, OEM, and also connection between technologies. Giuseppe mentioned it that we are doing it at regional scale with a smart specialization strategy, and we have to go to national European scale and also to involve industry and connect community in terms of manufacturing, material, electronics, digital, and contribute again to what has been let's say expressed as a target for the European Commission to move to a green, digital, and resilient economy. So thank you for this, and I'll let the floor back to maybe Rui for a quick summary. But thank you again for this morning session.
Merci beaucoup, Patrick. For sure. So, Rui, would you make the last summary?
Well, as you can see, this is a great group. Of course, I would say that we feed each other with the connection, interaction, as you have been pushing at the European level. In Portugal, for instance, we are working every 15 days together with Portugal clusters, trying to interconnect our cluster with other clusters, and this is really the most important right now. The question you raised is what about the market evolution, the disruption of the value chains? Well, we are facing a stop and go on the market, especially on the automotive sector, which is dramatically important in our economy, because the market of automotive is changing also, like all the products. And of course, there are huge constraints because we are not selling the automotives. The electric car has been delayed, so in a general way, so the companies are forced to try to find and compete for business. But I would like to leave the last point to this challenge of the vagues that we are facing on the next phases that we are suffering. And the most important thing is that at the European level, we are pushing for high-tech industry, responsible from the economic and environmental side from our companies, but also to invest in people, at everything at the same time. But in the end of the day, the question is the price. This is the big problem of SMEs, because in Europe we have not a system that allow and protect in a way. It's not protectionism. It's not permit that companies facing this investment as a conquest to guarantee differentiation in the market, because in the end of the day, the prices are coming in different conditions of production. This is not new, but in this period it comes with a bigger impact in our companies. So I think we need to rethink the new industry and the new ways of competitiveness that we want to have in Europe. And the clusters are obliged to come to this discussion and create some way of thought, some way of being to help and support the competitiveness of European industry. Otherwise, we will not have the reindustrialization that we are pushing for, that we need to have. This is, I would say, the most important thing right now. As my kid is saying every day, the future is not important. The important is what we are doing next day. And so for a young kid with 10 years old, I think this is a very strong message. And in fact, I think we need to work together and bring companies with us, and the clusters are for sure the right way to do it. Thank you.
Obrigado, Rui. So when you speak about the price problem, okay, I understand that there is one strong competition from countries external to Europe, coming with cheaper products, and probably our quality is better, but not so so much. Or what will be the situation? Could you please explain to us?
Well, from my point of view, we have been discussing this very deeply. The question is, from certain markets, for instance, like medical devices, not only the prices are established, but all the rules to enter in the market are established and controlled, which is really difficult to bring innovative products to within these value chains. And so Europe needs to change the way how to use this capacity that is installed, and the need to reinforce the competitiveness of these SMEs to enter in these markets. In the other hand, we have clear situations of dumping processes. Clear, it's very clear. We are suffering in different ways. You can see the new is not new, but the train, the Trans-Siberian train that is coming from Asia to Europe every day, bringing products below the cost prices. It's incredible. The Germans are rising this every day, and we also, and so it's really incredible. How can we maintain this situation? Of course, I'm an economist, so I believe on globalization. So companies need to fight at the global market. So we need to be global, to have a scale, to have capacity to differentiate in the market. And Europe needs to do that. But we need equality. Equality is the buzzword that we need to push right now to support resilience from the companies.
Would you be able to, you as a group, I think that you are a very excellent example of what is a Euro cluster in a reality, okay, in something that you have built through many, many years. Would you be able to write down those suggestions and those points as a report that we could deliver with concrete data and samples? So Marek, sorry, I see you that you want to speak, but please go on. No, we cannot hear you. Yes, we had the same problem yesterday. Sorry. No, we are not hearing you. Perhaps you can connect through the phone if you want. The data is as always in the invitation to the meeting. I hope you will be able to share, Marek. It's very important to hear you. But while we wait for Marek, Dolors, we saw you. Please join us. Welcome, Dolors.
Good morning. Sorry, I opened the camera by error because I'm combining the work with mom work, so it's quite difficult. Yeah, I have a question, both. Thank you very much to all for your nice presentations. I have a question because I saw the Patrick's presentation and he proposed the conversion or to build a meta cluster structure. But my question is more how to be more efficient and effective in a meta-cluster structure, because plastics is too general, too big, can include a lot of types of plastics, a lot of type of technologies. And from my point of view, maybe it's more difficult to get innovation when the scope is so huge. So how do you think that is possible really to build an European meta-cluster in some topics that can be efficient and effective, that we are not lost because it's too general?
Yes, I think what we did in the project we mentioned is to our first design of this approach. We tackled this point that among wording, among general speaking, how to make it to implement in our ecosystem and toward our company this meta cluster. And yes, the good approach is to have division or subtopics or areas where either you can have common interest issues, like for instance recycling, and work together as a meta cluster, or on a vertical, let's say, approach to deal with some market expectation. So this is in progress, but we can really open the discussion with you and others. I'm sure.
I have no idea how to do it. It's just a question how try to be more efficient and effective. I have no idea.
Antonio, can you hear me now?
Perfectly.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for this. Thank you very much for all these presentations, Marek Pszczor, cluster policy in the European Commission. I just wonder, because we are now in the process of as well insights to collect any signals on disruptions in supply chains. So if you have any cases of disruptions in supply chains that you want to signal to us, please let us know through Antonio. Antonio will definitely be happy to collect and send this to us. The other thing is you mentioned some structural problems, the dumping you mentioned, and you mentioned as well this what you call national level plastic tax. I don't know what is this, and let us know. So in all this, at the same time, when I hear Insight can share this with my colleagues, they will ask me, but tell me more, because I can say what the national tax, plastic tax, it's just a slogan. I have no details. I need to get details. I need to get information, and once we get the signals, we can act. Otherwise, it just remains on your slide. So the many elements you mentioned here, right now as well, that you have blockage or barriers in getting innovation into the medical devices because this is so rigid, or as well give examples. So on this basis we can start acting. Otherwise, we cannot. So
Okay.
I would ask you for this very much so, because this is exactly what we would expect now. In 3 hours, I have meeting with my colleagues as well, working again on the COVID issue, and I will raise that this was highlighted, but I have no, they will definitely ask me for more, and come with so that they can decide if there is needed for considerations of regulation, consideration of standardization, consideration on or barriers specific for one country, infringement, whatever. I don't know. But you need to have these details in order to be able to judge and to assess. So thank you very much for this information. Another one. So the structural problems you are mentioning is important. Another one is zooming in ecosystem, actually finding the indicators specific for your business, which could give us as well the most updated information what is happening on the market. And this is very specific, and you cannot gather this information neither through Eurostat or through Dun & Bradstreet, Compass, all this intelligence. You can get it only from the people who are in the business, and as well to identify what kind of indicators which are kind of giving the like in the scoreboard, giving the indications what is happening on the market, specific for your market. It needs to come from you. I mean, there are not specialists in each. I mean, thousands of different markets, but if we can have it at least for ecosystems, and it could be even anecdotal. But if you are finding out some indicators that can be like, I mean, the easiest would be the revenues, of course, but something that is specific for your business. I have difficulties to figure out now what. But the point, our main problem is from Eurostat we are receiving data a very aggregated level, and it's at the best 3 months late, which already is not bad, but it's 3 months. If we want to act quickly, then we need to have kind of very from the ground. And to be honest, I think the only cluster community can deliver it, to be honest. But we don't have structure to do this yet. But we might come to this. So thank you very much for your presentations. It gives some signals. If you can be more precise in what you are raising, so that we can I can as well address it here inside, that would be helpful. Thank you.
You are very welcome, Marek, and the challenge and the opportunity is clearly defined, so we need to work on it, and not only for the plastic sector, but to for the most critical of them, or to every one of them. But you have the structure, the linkages, the experience and knowledge that we need. So please,
for example, I'm sorry. For example, for this anti-dumping, if you can give us as the case, concrete case, what you mean by this anti-dumping? In which concrete products, by whom? This would be already good signal. And for this this plastic tax at national level, give us as well details. What is this? So thank you very much. Thank you.
Just a question, Antonio. Do you want us to reply now, or do you want us to send the information to you to share it with Marek?
If you can comment now if you want, okay. But if you write it down as soon as possible, it will be far better. Okay. No, or both, if you want. Okay. We need it in writing.
Could I just reply regarding to the text for just 2 seconds to introduce you?
Sure.
Yeah, just let me tell you that at European level, there are different initiatives like the Green Deal, like the European plastic strategy, and so on and so on, dealing with plastics and the environment of plastic converters, focusing on some topics that they want to deal with, environmentally talking basically. And one of the main directives that finally has been approved is the SUP directive, with the restriction of the commercialization of some plastic, single-use plastic products. Okay, this is going to be done at European level. Now the countries, the different countries, need to transform this European directive into their national regulatory system. So this is what is happening in the different countries. In the particular case of Spain, and I know that in Italy it happens the same, this translation of the directive is being made in some aspect literally. For instance, these restrictions of the commercial use for single-use plastics, but in other concepts, they've gone one step beyond, implementing a tax. Now is in a draft moment, but it seems that the government is not going to say no to it. And the tax include a 0.45 cents of euros per each kilo of plastic material used for non-reusable plastic packaging, only for plastic. Meaning
okay, thank you very much, because I need to leave for another meeting, but exactly this information, if you can send us in written, so such details, and this is from Spain. Probably in other countries there's the same, so it shows as well how we are making very difficult life in different countries depending on the approach. Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry. See you Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Marek. Bye. So,
I would like just to say that considering the dumping, I think it's important to say this. SMEs are the weak point in the value chain. So they are strong because they can enter in the value chains, the global value chains, because they have a differentiation. They have competencies that are needed to put the products in the market. So, but in the end of the day, they are the small one in those value chain. So don't ask us to bring special cases on prices. We as clusters can be the voices of the companies in a general way. I would say that the prices are coming down 50 to 1/3, 50% to 1/3. This means that there are products, and I mean tools, that don't pay the price of the material they incorporate. And this is clear not only in Portugal, but in Germany. I have been in several conferences with mold makers in Germany and in other places, and everybody is complaining the same. So I would like to say that sometimes I understand that the Commission, the European Commission, they want to have cases. We will not bring cases. We will bring the voices and the permanent results of our analysis and our deal with companies to bring these contributes. So I think this is really important to ensure, because no one company wants to be in a more weak place in this supply chain.
Rui, I think that the Commission and everyone, not only the Commission, us, the rest of us, need to understand with concrete data, okay? And so more than, I think that what we need are samples, okay? But first of all, we need concrete data, meaning if you are saying that there are cases of dumping, we need to understand if this is just punctual, occasional, or it's general. And if you have some measures or some estimation of how much is that dumping, okay? And if you have that kind of average data, I think it will be very good to have it in writing. Okay, but if you can provide the samples, I think that in reality that's very important also. If we are able to say concretely this new proposal from the European Parliament or the Spanish Parliament, or concretely this company is suffering because they are not able to present to the medical devices environment their proposals by the difficulties on homologation or certification of, I don't know, but if we are able to deliver that kind of samples, I am sure that they will make good use of those samples, you know, if we are able.
Okay, what I can say is that most of the companies are complaining that the molds, for instance, they sold by 1 million. They are pushing and selling in the market now for half of the price, and this is a general way, not only in Portugal but everywhere in Europe. So, and if we make the analysis on the cost of the materials of the molds and the cost of the production of the tools, you will see that these prices don't pay the steel most of the times, and this is clear. So the question is, if a company is providing a product to a big OEM or a first-tier supplier, this company never will present this situation publicly. Okay, so this is the reason why we need as cluster to find a way to bring this to the discussion and to see how we can at least create some new way of equality in the market. Maybe the DG of concurrence should be pushed to discussion. I don't
perhaps know. We don't need to make it public, you know, and perhaps I have had situations with my cluster member where I have told them, I would like to comment your situation with the government, okay, but I'm in private, and perhaps they are willing to do that, okay.
Antonio, I think that normally companies suffer in this kind of circumstances. They are happy to make it public. They want it. In fact, they want someone to know about it and deal with it. So, I mean, I think it's not a question of privacy of this information, the other way around, as far as I know.
Sometimes it's more difficult than others, okay? But we could, the important point here is that we have the opportunity and I will not say the tool, but the linkage with the European Commission DG GROW team that is working, not just the unit of clusters, but the group that is working with the crisis and the regulatory aspects and so on. So we have the opportunity to deliver then concrete proposals and data that justify those proposals. But we need to be methodologically correct. So we need to give them something in writing, we need to give them data, and we need to justify it, I will say. So that's okay.
We will try to do something. I would just like to state that if Europe lose the capacity on tooling, we will be in great difficulty on products in general way, because it's difficult to imagine the product that don't need tools or molds to produce them. And we have a high standard level in Europe of this industry, and we cannot face the same situation that US suffered some years ago, when they lose all the capacity to produce the tools for them, and they become in a bad situation facing the military control the products because they have to buy all the products outside. So we need to ensure the capacity that Europe has and maintain and develop this infrastructure to be able to not have disruption on the value chains, but also to be leading the world manufacturing on the products, the high-level products that we need to have.
Perfect. Put that in
Thank
writing and justify it.
Yes. Yeah.
You have the opportunity to make them know.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really, my deepest congratulations for the ecosystem that you have created, for your approach and for your methodological way to express it and to recommend. So we continue. It's very important, and I hope to see you soon again. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.